storage levels in Europe are depleting faster than that we have seen in the past couple of years, where we have very warm winters. And to be here at 70%, more or less, in the first half still of the winter, it is a concern. It doesn't mean that we are going to have a physical shortage of any way during the winter. It will have to get extremely bad, extremely cold through January, February, and March, and even April to really get into trouble. But what it means is that we are going to emerge from the winter with much lower reserves that we have done in the previous 2 years, which means that we're going to have to buy a lot of gas in the market during the spring and summer to replenish those reserves ahead of the winter in 2025, 2026, which means that the period of high prices is going to last longer than expected, which again filters into inflation, filters into economic activity, particularly in countries like Germany with a big energy-intensive manufacturing sector, things that probably the ECB is going to have to think about in the next few weeks and months.
Indeed, that's what you've been writing about in your latest piece out this morning. Europe should be worrying about next winter's gas. What needs to be done now in the coming months when we get past this peak demand season?
Well, we as every spring and summer, Europe will have to buy gas into the market to replenish the reserves. So what we are going to be hoping is that some of the LNG projects that they are coming on stream over the next few months arrive on time, creating a wave of supply. We were thinking that we were going to have a lot more supply by now on LNG. This is liquefied natural gas that is made liquid for transportation. And those projects have been delayed. Now we're going to see more projects coming in the next few months, perhaps the middle of the year. We do need those projects to come on a stream on time. And then in some ways, Europe is going to hope that the Chinese economy remains weak, limiting the demand for LNG in China, and then therefore more LNG for Europe to make it easier to replenish the reserves.
So how do you factor in the geopolitics here? Because we were reporting last week on the end of the Ukraine gas transit deal for Russian gas. How important is that shift for European supplies in the context of everything else?
Well, that makes more complicated, because we remove another source of supply that needs to be filled up by something else. That's one of the reasons that over the next few weeks we're going to see a quicker than expected depletion of the European natural gas storage. And then the key question is what happened in the next few months with Ukraine and Russia. Is there a chance that there is a ceasefire, a settlement that allows Europe to import again Russian gas? There's a big question mark, and it's going to be largely outside the control of European governments and more to be decided by what President Donald Trump does when he arrives into the White House, how much pressure he puts into Ukraine and Russia, for that matter, to try to find a settlement. And there is a lot of skepticism in the market that a settlement between Ukraine and Russia will not change the gas situation. I have tended to disagree. I do think that any political solution between Ukraine and Russia, and even if it's just a temporal ceasefire, will probably have some repercussions to the gas market.